The drama girl has to come out. I cannot do a simple look. I might put my hair up to read. Hello. It's giving Cindy Lou Who. Okay. Alright. So now that my hair is up, we're going to start reading from this book. But I'm only going to read chapters that I've already read because I don't want to. This book is like, I could read chapters that I haven't gotten to yet, but I wouldn't be able to absorb them because this book is incredibly dense. It's comprised of letters of a poet giving advice to another poet, or writer giving advice to another poet, and it was written at the turn of the 20th century. All of these letters that are in this book are written between 1903 and 1908, and back then they just had a very different cadence and syntax of how they strung their sentences together, and it takes a little bit more time to read than modern writing, if that makes sense. So if I were to attempt to read this like chapters aloud without giving myself some time to think about it, I wouldn't be able to absorb any of it. Okay, now that I've given my explanation, things are not at all so uncomfortable and inexpressible as one would like. Most events are inexpressible, not taking place at all and more inexpressible than all else are works of art, mysterious existence, the life of which, while ours passes sweet. After these profound remarks, let me only tell you further that your verses have no individual style, who has not his equal among all artists living today, and all success upon your way is yours, Rainer Rilke. Period, girl. Okay, this is the third letter that's in this book. You gave me so much joy, my dear sir, with your Easter letter, for it said many good things about yourself, and the way you spoke of Jacobson's great and beloved work showed me that I had not erred and guided your life in many questions to the source of plenty. Now, German book I can't pronounce, will open before you a book of glorious the deeds. Oftener one reads it, there seems to be everything in it, from life's very faintest fragrance to the full baked taste of the heaviest fruits. There is nothing that does not seem to have been understood, grasped, experienced, and recognized in this tremulous after-rate of memory. No experience has been too slight, and the least incident unfolds like a destiny, and made itself like a wonderful wide web in which each thread is guided by an infinitely tender hand, and laid alongside another, and held and borne up by 100 others. You will experience the great happiness of reading this book for the first time, and will go through its countless surprises. And then a new dream, I can tell you that later too. One goes through these books again and again and again and again with the same astonishment, and that they will lose none of the wonderful power and surrender none of the fabulousness with which they overwhelm one at first reading. One just comes to relish them increasingly, to be always more grateful, and somehow better and simpler, and one's contemplating deeper, and one's belief life, and in living happier and bigger. And later you must read the wonderful book of the destiny and desire of him. Blah blah blah. He's casting up this artist or this writer. Blah 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 blah. In your opinion, if there should have been roses, the work of such incomparable delicacy and form, you are of course quite unassailably right as against the writer of the introduction. And let me promptly make a request: read as little as possible of aesthetic criticism. Such things are either partisan views, petrified and grown senseless in their lifeless iteration, and they are clever quibblings in which today one view wins and tomorrow the opposite. Works of art are of infinite loneliness, and with nothing so little to be reached as with criticism. Only love can grasp and hold and be just toward them. Consider yourself and your feeling right every time with regard to every such argumentation, discussion, or introduction. And if you are wrong, after all, the natural growth of your intellect will lead you to leave without other instincts. Leave to your opinion their own quiet, undisturbed development, which, like all progress, must come from deep within, and cannot be pressed or hurried by anything. Everything is gestation, and then bringing forth to let each impression, each germ of a feeling come to completion wholly and in itself, in the dark, in the inexpressible, the unconsciousness beyond the reach of one's own intelligence, and await with deep humility and patience the birth hour of a new clarity. That alone is living the artist's life in understanding as in creating. There is here no measuring with time, no year matters, and 10 years are nothing. Being an artist means not reckoning and counting, but ripening like the tree which does not force its sap and stands confident in the storms of spring, without the fear that after them may come no summer. It does come, but it comes only to the patient, who are there as though eternity laid before them, so unconcernedly still and wide. I learn it daily, learn it with pain, to which I am grateful. Patience is everything. Okay. So, very